training bootcamp. So basically, I am teaching people what it means to be a Salesforce admin, following the curriculum to prepare people for the admin certification exam. And at the same time, there are many people in the class who have no experience whatsoever with Lightning. They're very experienced in Salesforce and Salesforce Classic. They might even be Salesforce certified already as certified admins, but they've never used Lightning before. So what we're doing is basically I'm teaching them not only what Lightning is all about, but also the tips and best practices and advice that I have as it relates to working in Salesforce, being a Salesforce admin, gathering business requirements and managing processes, and when it's appropriate or not appropriate to set up record types or objects or custom fields. Anyway, why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you all of this because in my course, the topic keeps coming up of multi-select pick lists. And many of you know me and know that when the topic comes up of multi-select pick lists, I get all riled up because I absolutely hate, hate, hate multi-select pick lists. There are just a few features in Salesforce that I I just can't stand. And multi-select pick lists is one of them. So the question is why, David, why do you have an issue with multi-select pick lists? People constantly ask me that. So what I'm going to do right now, so I'm doing this completely live, I'm going to show you exactly why I feel so strongly against multi-select pick lists. And what I'm going to do here is I'm about to show you an org. So this is a developer org. It's actually a developer org that I started from scratch just for the purposes of this training class that I'm doing right now. So I created it about a week ago. So in this developer org, what I'm going to do is, since in the training course we're not customizing anything on the leads object, I'm about to create a brand new field on the leads object, which is a multi-select pick list. And then I'm going to go ahead and populate that field with a bunch of values. And I'm going to show you, not all, but just some of the horrors, enough of the horrors, which gets me to run in the other direction anytime I see a multi-select pick list. So bear with me. You're going to see my screen now. And let's go ahead and go into setup. So here we are in my developer org that I'm using for training purposes for this class. And now what I'm going to do is go into Object Manager, and I'm going to navigate over into Leads. And for fields and relationships, I'm going to create a brand new field. And I can't even believe that I'm about to go ahead and choose this, but I'm choosing multi-select pick list. Hate it. I hate it. Hate it. Hello, David. How are you? Anyway, so I'm choosing multi-select pick list. And I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And we're going to simulate that this is favorite topping, not favorite flavor of ice cream. Favorite ice cream topping. Let's make believe that we're in the business of selling ice cream. Or maybe, actually, I had a client that did this once where they wanted to capture, for prospects, they wanted to capture their favorite flavor of pudding. And they actually sent them pudding. And basically, I guess it'd like to stand out. And then the person in business development would follow up with a prospect asking, "Hey, so what do you think of the pudding?" Interesting, different. Anyway, so I prepared over here a spreadsheet with some. I'm not a big expert in ice cream topping, so I went online and I found some, and then I alphabetized them. So here are some values that we're going to use as a sample. 56 values that we're going to use in order to have a small sampling of options that we want to include for users to utilize when they're in Salesforce and to choose favorite flavor of ice cream. Since it's already alphabetized, I'm not going to choose the option here to display it alphabetically. Use the first option as default value, no. How many visible lines? You know what, since I have a lot, since I have like 50, let's go ahead and expand this a little bit. Let's make it 10 maybe. Make it a little bit more user-friendly. And that's really it. Let's go ahead and hit next. And what's the issue? Oh, I have duplicates. Oh, that's a problem. Well, where's my duplicate? I should have cleaned that up beforehand. I apologize. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. If I could just eyeball it. Um, I'm not seeing a duplicate. Oh, cookie dough. My fault. Okay. Let's go ahead. Next. Okay, great. Hit next. For now, we'll just leave it alone. Hit save. Cannot believe I'm creating a multi-select pick list. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go over here into leads, and we can see that I have all open leads. I have in this developer org a bunch of leads in here. So let's go one by one and let's start populating a bunch of these values. I'm just opening a bunch of these in a new tab. Let's just do only 5 of them. I think that's enough for you guys to get an idea of what's going on. By the way, I did not customize this page layout whatsoever. One of my other big gripes about Lightning is this is the default layout. That basically the default page layout in Lightning experience from object to object is completely not consistent. This is completely nonsensical. My personal recommendation. The tabs on the left-hand side, it should always be 2 tabs. The first one should be details and the second one should be related. And since we're on leads and there's very little that's related, it becomes questionable whether or not we even need related. On the right-hand side, it should always be activities. That should always be the default, followed by the tab for chatter. Whatever. I'm not going to get hung up over that. It's an extra click each time I need to log into one of these. Fine. Let's go ahead and hit edit over here, and let's make some selections for favorite flavor of ice cream. So over here, we could see a favorite ice cream topping. Sorry about that. So we could see over here that we have a bunch of toppings, and let's make believe that this person is very into chocolate. So let's go ahead and choose a little bit more than all the chocolate options, but we definitely want to choose all of those chocolate options. Let's go ahead and hit save. And we updated that one. So now let's go into the next one, and let's just go ahead and hit edit over here. We'll be presented with the same screen. Let's scroll down a little bit, and now let's go here, and let's choose from this one. We're going to purposely leave out 2 of those options, and let's choose a bunch of these options over here, and use I think I'm having a browser issue over here. This is freaking annoying. Okay, so let's try refreshing the browser. By the way, I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's the summer 20. I don't know if it's a Chrome update, but I've been seeing this lately. See over here on the upper right-hand side? These gray icons have been disappearing on me. This is not consistent. So when I hit refresh, it comes back. Anyway, let's go back and hit edit. So we're going to go into the second lead and make a couple of options. We have the arrows now. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and let's choose from chocolate pearls up. Let's go all the way up here, and let's choose all of these happen to be this person's favorite toppings. They enjoy a lot of toppings. Let's go to this one, and let's hit edit over here. And now if I scroll down a little bit, let's make a bunch of options over here. Also, there's a very specific reason why I'm choosing a lot of these to include chocolate. Let's go here, because I want to do some filtering in a moment. I'm going to create a list view. I want to create some reports where I want to see those that chose. Maybe I just want to see those people who selected chocolate chip or chocolate fudge or chocolate syrup. And that's what I want to show you as a simulation of one of the many, many challenges associated with multi-select pick list. Let's go here and hit save. And I've got one more. So let's go here, edit, and choose a bunch of options over here. Great. So now that I have all these options, what I want to do now is let's go ahead and close a bunch of these extra tabs. I really don't need them. I don't need that either. Let's go back over here. And now, hey, I want to create a list view. I want to create a list view showing those people that have selected chocolate, or maybe chocolate syrup, or maybe chocolate chips, or maybe chocolate fudge, have selected that as their favorite flavor of a favorite topping. So we're going to go over here to list views, new. Chocolate, syrup. Let's just make sure of the options that I did put in. I want to make sure I actually chose. I don't want to be proven dodo over here. Let's do chocolate chips. So I'm cutting and pasting, making sure I don't have any typos. Now only I can see that's completely fine. And now let's go over here into the filters. So this really doesn't matter. I'll include all leads. I'm the only real user over here. And now let's go down to where we have favorite ice cream topping. So if we go over here, and I want to have all of those that includes chocolate chip. And now I hit done over here. Okay, so everything looks nice and clean. But now what if I want all of those that includes anything, any option of chocolate? Hmm. So if I go over here and I want to update this, and let's go into favorite ice cream topping, includes, now we happen to have 50 here in many organizations with multi-select pick lists. You could easily have way more than this. So if I want to choose anything that includes chocolate, I now need to go and select one by one because they might not be alphabetical, just those that start with the word chocolate. Because for example, we might have M&Ms might have, it might say like M&M with chocolate cover, or white M&Ms with white chocolate topping versus dark chocolate topping. So we could have chocolate appearing somewhere else within one of these options. But for now, I would have to go over here and let's go ahead and do this. So let's choose every one of these and hit save. And that seems pretty fine. Like this is really not a problem. Let's go ahead and try the Kanban view and let's see how that works. So if I try a Kanban view and I want to group it by, I can't group it by the multi-select pick list. That's annoying. All right, so now let's go ahead and pull a report. So we're going to pull a report for leads. And create a date. That's actually fine. Let's change it anyway to all time. And favorite topping. So, what am I supposed to do here exactly? Includes chocolate? Am I supposed to do includes chocolate chip? Or equals chocolate chip? So if I wasn't expecting that. I have no idea why that even happened. Let's go ahead and just reload just in case. That was funny. Let's go here. Leads. And you know what, that's completely fine. And let's go ahead again and choose topping. And so let's say for now, I want to see everyone that included any version of, honestly, this looks like it's repeatable. Let's do this just in case the issue happens to be something associated with lightning. But I don't know, like I have no idea why this error is happening. Let's go ahead and try this in Classic. So, which is completely fine. So we're going to go into Classic over here because the issue is not specific to lightning. So let's click on New Report, and haven't built a report in Classic in a very long time. But it's sort of like being back home, I guess. So my leads create a date. That's completely fine. Let's leave it as all time. That's totally cool. And now let's look for topping. And let's do over here includes chocolate. I guess this is why we were seeing the error in Lightning. Picklist value doesn't exist, but what does that mean? I want every option. I want to pull a report of every option that includes the word chocolate. So you know what? Let's not put a filter. Let's do anything that's not blank. So show me all of those records that are not where the favorite flavor of ice cream is not blank. And then what I want to do is I want to group it by that column. So let's go over here and let's go here and group by this field. And now let's run the report and let's see what this looks like. Let's add a chart to it because I'm struggling to like make sense out of all this. So, what am I supposed to do? Let's go to customize and let's add the chart. And let's, yeah, that kind of chart is fine. And let's do run. Hmm, look how the report is grouped. So suppose I have these options in here and I want to see, for example, how many people we have that chose, let's say, banana. How many people chose caramel corn? How many people chose chocolate chips or chocolate pearls? How am I supposed to do that exactly? So let's go back over here to the filters and choose edit. I would have to do here, let's do equals. We see here that banana was an option, right? Banana is an option. So I'm going to choose equals banana. And I'm going to run this report. And I got nothing. You know, I got nothing because there isn't anyone in the database that only chose banana as their favorite. That's the, that that's what this filter would look for. In other words, I have no mechanism that I am aware of, at least, in order to show me all of those contacts where the value of banana is included. So let's try this one more time. Includes banana, which means I have everything with the word banana in it. In other words, if there was Twix banana flavor, banana covered, chocolate covered banana, all of those things would result in my inability to filter out to see who chose, uh, here we see a Facebook user, um, who chose banana. This is just one of, by the way, let's go ahead, for those of you who are a little bit confused with Lightning versus Classic, let's go ahead and save this report. So let's do a save as, and uh, topping report, and then we'll switch back into Lightning and we'll take a look at it in Lightning. And we have that same level of, should I call it chaos or should I call it not usable functionality? So my question is, what are we supposed to do here? Now, usually by the time a company gets to this place where they realize limitations like this, where it is, by the way, suppose I wanted to sort all of these. I wanted to sort all of my customers based on their favorite flavor of topping. I have no mechanism to do that because so long as this will sort by whichever option was chosen first for any of them. So usually by the time an organization gets to the point where they realize that this is a problem, they've already not only created the multi-select pick list, they've had their team going ahead and entering records and making selections on the multi-select options that have been made available within the system. And then they feel like, well, what are we supposed to do now? It's sort of like, imagine you're going on a family trip and you load, everyone packs and loads up the car and you're on the road and all of a sudden like, oh wait, we can't go to our destination? What are we supposed to do now? And everyone sort of looks at each other puzzled. Should we just go somewhere else? So a lot of times people will simply say, well, the system sucks. No, the system doesn't suck. There's just this one feature in Salesforce that is really bad. I would love to meet the Salesforce employee who's responsible for multi-select picklists, and I would love to get a good understanding on why this hasn't been killed. So I get it in terms of even those companies that are using it already. Let me just switch the screen over here. That are using it already, and maybe they've figured out a way to make use of it, and it totally works for them. Like that's completely cool. But if I were able to make a decision as it relates to Salesforce as a product, as a company, and using multi-select pick lists, I would turn off that feature so that no one can use it moving forward, because in my mind, it is nothing but a disaster. So, by the way, you might be wondering, okay, so if you think so strongly against multi-select pick lists, the question is, what should we do as an alternative? So we want to be able to track favorite topping or favorite flavor of ice cream. We want to be able to capture more than one of these options. What is your recommendation? My recommendation is as follows. If the number of options that you're going to give people, if the number of options is 10 or less, 10 is really just a benchmark. If it's 10 or less, my recommendation is go ahead and create a checkbox field for each option that you want to allow them to select from. So let's say it is favorite ice cream topping, and you want to capture it on the lead or the contact object. I would create a separate checklist field for every single one of those toppings that you want to make available as a selection. Then on the page layout, I would simply organize it by creating a section on the page layout and call it favorite ice cream topping, and just go ahead and throw all of those checkbox options in there. I would alphabetize it so it makes it relatively easy for the end users to see, to find the options that they need. But as you just saw, favorite ice cream topping, just finding a random selection online gave me more than 50 options. So it's not always going to be practical. So what happens if you have more than 10 options that you want to make available to people? So my recommendation is if you have more than 10 options that you want to make available to people, then what you do is you go ahead and create a custom object. And I don't say this lightly, like you do not create a custom object just because the wind blew in a different direction. You have to think carefully before just going ahead and doing that. But I would create, in this use case, I would create, and I cringe at the idea, but that's what I would do. I would create a custom object in order, I would basically call it toppings. And in there, I would create one record for each of the toppings that we want to be able to capture, to measure, to make available for our users. And then I would create a junction object in order to link the toppings to the either leads or contacts, or both actually, who have selected that particular topping as one of their favorite toppings. And by doing that, it will allow us to it'll allow us to have very scalable options. It will allow us to do the reporting that we're not able to do native out of the box with multi-select pick lists. It will also give us some very robust capability, actually, so that when we drill into, let's say, banana or chocolate chip or chocolate syrup, it will give us some very robust capability as it relates to simply seeing immediately, seeing all of the records anywhere in the database where that particular favorite topic, where that particular option was selected as a favorite topping. So if for some reason we need to identify, let's say, we're in the manufacturing business and we're manufacturing many different types of ice cream toppings, and there happens to be a recall on one of them, on chocolate sprinkles. So we can just navigate into chocolate sprinkles. You don't even need to build a report. You just navigate into chocolate sprinkles and you can immediately see directly on that screen all of the different records, all of the different leads, or all of the different contacts where that option is linked. So that's my recommendation. If it's under 10, I would create separate checkbox fields and put it directly on the object, directly on the page layout. If it's more than 10, then I would go ahead and create a separate custom object in order to, which then requires creating another junction object in order to link that particular topping with the record that you want to associate it with. Now, by the way, you might be thinking, okay, wait a minute, that's fine and dandy, but in my use case, of the many different options available in the multi-select pick list, I only want them to be able to select three, no more than three. They can select up to three options. You might even have a scenario where they must select three, like any of the many different options available. They must select at least three, or they cannot select more than three. So you can have all different kinds of use cases. Those can be accommodated for using different mechanisms, such as you can have roll-up summary fields, you can have validation rules. So there are a couple of different ways that you can actually solve for that, which means that if someone goes ahead and they try to make a selection that does not conform to whatever your business requirements are, it would actually, I want to say throw an error. I mean, it would throw an error, but it would also prevent them from saving the record or from moving on off of that record. Anyway, that's my two cents on multi-select pick lists. I tried to be very professional about it, and I tried to be very succinct about it. Hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you found it informative and educational. And hopefully you will help me by preventing others. Friends, don't let friends use multi-select pick lists. Send that message to everyone that you know who's a Salesforce admin. Go spread the word on social media. Don't use multi-select pick lists, and this is why. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me rant. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.